people listen. Thank God for them.
I mean, maybe we should change the name of the show to just stupid shit that's completely unrelatable to anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, at least your Knicks show is relatable because people like the Knicks or don't like the Knicks or like basketball, and they could and talk about it or understand it. But we're just talking about Marc's fucking kids and your trip from hell and some fucking stalker guy in my neighborhood. Who gives a shit?
Maybe that would explain the state of the show right now.
Yeah. I hope we did a soft opening after all this.
I started recording in the middle of it.
Download if you want to listen to Stern, you can listen to Stern anytime you want. You just download a show. So that's another 3 or 4 hours of your day that if you want to listen to it. I don't know how people do any of this.
Yeah,
I guess if you commute and you go to the gym, that's a couple hours, but I don't do either of those. So
I guess some people have a job where they listen at work all day.
Yeah,
but I don't know. To have a job where you listen all day and you pick us, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I do give credit to anybody who has spent time listening to us. I think it's the most impressive feat is having found us.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, although we did start back before the huge podcast wave, but even still, to stick with us after I could listen to 3 episodes of you or somebody who I find humorous and I know of
and interesting and
yeah.
We also, I mean, Marc is kind of a normal, but we have weird lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just a private eye.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I have a weird life.
Yeah, Marc has the most normal life, and it's still not even really he's got the white people, upper middle class problems.
Yeah. I think Marc is finally on.
Oh, he missed a good show.
Hey guys, can you start the show late, and then I'll be super late to it.
Oh, you said you were going to be 5 minutes late, so I'll be 25 minutes late on top of the extra 5.
Oh, it was a goddamn Windows update. I'll rant about Windows update. Just start.
Is it
show.
Windows 10? Because that happened to my dad yesterday. It was 3 hours.
Just JJ, start the show. I want to rant about this.
We're already going.
You already missed a good show.
Yeah.
Are we already going?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
I'm recording. You want me to play the song, or you want?
No, screw you. Whatever. Okay. I don't care about the show. The goddamn Windows forces fucking updates on you all the time. All the time they need goddamn. They're like, oh, we have a software patch, and we have to shut down your fucking computer for a half hour when you want to use it. I use this computer once a goddamn week to do Skype fucking show with you, and that's when it needs to do an update.
Yeah,
it's the most annoying thing. You can't even turn the updates off anymore. You used to be able to turn them off. Now they force them on you.
Yeah, no, my work computer does that.
To stop doing the show, we could just all have updates that take over our computer.
Holy crap! I should have started my computer earlier because I should have anticipated there being an update for no good reason. And all the updates do is make my computer slower. They never make them faster. Never fix anything. It just goes, hey, you like your computer? We'll make it worse now.
Well, sometimes it also makes programs incompatible with others.
Yes. Didn't that shut down your computer for 6 months? You got to get a new computer because of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Holy shit! These people that make computers are goddamn evil. They're like, you haven't bought a new computer in a while. Let's make shit worse so you have to.
Yep.
It's weird too because it happens to me on my laptop. If I, have my laptop closed, and I'll go to bed. I'll get up in the morning and half the programs I had open were closed because my computer restarted without telling me or asking me or while the thing was kind of shut down.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll have that at work. I'll want to leave some window open, and I'm like, okay, I'll resume this when I get to work tomorrow, and suddenly it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my job, I have to have 10 different programs and all these different Excel sheets and Word docs, and I'll get them all open, and then it'll be like, yeah, we're going to force update this thing. You have to restart. It's like, God damn it.
So I would be pretty okay if the person that took down Jeffrey Epstein also took down the Windows people.
Speaking of Jeffrey Epstein.
Speaking of child rape, go on.
I don't want to get all InfoWars here, but I have a question to pose for you guys.
Just your question. Just 1 second. Like, it's not conspiracy theory. The only thing that's a conspiracy theory is that he committed suicide. That is the only thing that's a conspiracy theory. Everything else seems more legitimate. Go on.
All right. Well, this leads me to my question. Which of these two options do you think is more likely? That somebody killed Jeffrey Epstein or had him killed while he was in jail, or that he's not really dead and he's in witness protection?
I don't think he's in witness protection.
I think he's probably dead.
I think he had a lot of info stashed somewhere, and they figured they would just be able to find it and destroy it. You're going to hear about the evidence getting destroyed soon. That's coming up. So I think they killed him, and they're going to cover everything up.
So for those that are not following,
I think he's in witness protection.
The Jeffrey Epstein story is he essentially was this big-time money manager. So basically, you have $1 billion, he'd help you get more money. And he also was allegedly, or probably...
Wasn't he also not very good at that? Didn't he lose people a lot of money?
His story is so goddamn bizarre. He did not graduate college, somehow got a job teaching math at Dalton School. Dalton School is one of the best, maybe the best private school in the entire country. The work there, you have... I know one person that works there, and he went to Yale. So this guy didn't graduate college, worked as a teacher at Dalton. Then during some parent-teacher conference, one of the parents liked him and gave him a job investing money at Bear Stearns. No idea why that would make sense. A couple of years later, he suddenly had billions of dollars under management and was investing billions of dollars for people out of nowhere. And apparently there's no real records of what he did at Bear Stearns or why he became so rich. A lot of weird things to the story. And the big thing is basically he seemed to run a child sex ring.
Yeah, there's a lot of missing links in that story.
Yeah.
He basically would have 14-year-old girls come in to do massages / have sex with him and his friends. And his friends, there was a lawsuit a number of years ago in which they had to release all these people that flew on his private plane, and those people included multiple times Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, as well as a bunch of other famous people.
Can I interject here for one second?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to this. Jay probably does because he's into conspiracy theory, but isn't that QAnon thing something about a child molester?
Yeah. Well, the QAnon, so there was the Pizzagate scandal, which they were...
I guess where I'm going is there any possibility that Jeffrey Epstein is the QAnon child molester?
So QAnon is supposed to be someone deep in the government who's leading some kind of conspiracy, and that's who QAnon is. Yeah. You're thinking of Pizzagate.
Oh,
Pizzagate was the thing that Hillary Clinton was running a child sex ring out of a pizza parlor.
Yeah, but no, I thought QAnon was that whole thing is something to do with a child molester, and Trump's supposed to break it up or something.
I don't know. There's so much.
I'm just thinking Trump knows a child molester, so maybe it's all connected.
There's a video. So Donald Trump used to be friends with him, used to be admittedly friends with Jeffrey.
No, he said he never met him.
There's a video of him saying from the 1980s that Jeffrey Epstein's a great guy and he likes women. He seems to like the girls really young.
That wasn't from the 80s. That was 2004.
Oh, was it from 2004?
That was at his eulogy.
And he said he's known him for 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, he also had billions of dollars, so he ran in a circle of people that had lots of money. So there are probably some people that hung out with him that weren't into having sex with underage girls, but a number of people probably were. Anyway, so the guy who had goods on all the rich and powerful people in the country is now dead.
Well, here's my whole take on this whole thing. First of all, they act like just because Epstein had dirt on all these people that he was going to rat everybody out.
Well,
that it was all going to come to light.
He was going to do life. He basically, about 10 years ago, they tried to. He basically got arrested for this, and they gave him like a bull. They basically gave him a free pass, and now I guess the Miami Herald did a huge investigative piece about this, and it looked so terrible that they had to re-prosecute him.
Right.
And it looked like he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Right, well, and that leads me to my next thing. It's like on Friday, the day before he died, if you said to anybody on the street, like, "Hey, what do you hope happens to Jeffrey Epstein?" They'll say, "Oh, well, I hope he dies in prison." Well, he died in prison. So, like, what's the big deal? It's not like I get that all these people are pissed because they want to stay in court, but it's not like they're going to drag him into court. They're going to have this big trial, and then he's going to stand up and be like, "All right, you got me. I fucking did it. I fucked all these little girls, and I'm an asshole and all that." No, he's just going to sit there, and he's not going to talk, and he's not going to testify, and everyone's going to get mad because he's going to sit there in court and look disinterested. So he died. And what's the big deal?
I think people are more pissed off that all the people he had implicating evidence on are probably going to get away with it now.
Yeah, they probably will, but they probably were going to anyway.
I think pretty much everyone's glad he's dead. Like, everyone's glad in the sense of, like, that's what he deserves. He probably
didn't change anything. I mean, everybody's going to get away with it. You guys know that.
Well, he also had, like, $500 million. He probably has, like, a $500 million in his estate. His state will be sued. They probably will have to give all the money to all the victims. That's all good stuff.
Look, everyone knew he was going to get away with it. What I don't think people were expecting was that it was going to be so blatant in your face, like, hey, we're going to do this right in front of everybody. There's nothing you could do about it, and now it's gone.
Well, if you were talking about it ahead of time, you were like, well, the only way out for all these rich people is he just, like, mysteriously dies. Oh, okay, it just happened.
Yeah. That's the frustrating part. It was obvious it was going to happen. It happened. It was right in everybody's face, and there's nothing.
But I'm sure it's not like, I'm sure he had evidence. They have evidence linked to it, not just like anecdotal, like first-hand evidence that you could only get from talking to him. Well, it's not like he was not like if you interrogated him, he was going to give everybody up anyway.
Well, supposedly he's told people, like including journalists, that he has a lot of dirt on a lot of very powerful people.
Yeah, and he probably has that in a safe somewhere as insurance so that he won't get fucked over by them.
Right, and they're going to raid his house and destroy everything.
By the way, did you know that he wanted to create a villa, he wanted to impregnate a ton of women and create his own species, his own like population, his own like what do they call it? Did you hear the thing about how he wanted like
See, that's what happens when somebody has too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was big into eugenics, thought his sperm were like the goal, like to help mankind move forward. And he wanted to create basically a whole property where it was just like tons of women that were going to be impregnated by him, and they would produce like all his offspring.
Oh, so he was a cult leader. He wanted to be a cult leader.
I found the New York Times article. He hoped to seed the human race with his DNA. Do you know eugenics?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was really big into this. So it's basically him and the Nazis were both really big into eugenics.
Very fine people on both sides.
Very fine people on both sides. But apparently he also invested a lot of money into like research into eugenics also.
Was he a big Bitcoin guy or?
He had a big ranch in New Mexico where he wanted to basically bring tons of women there and basically have sex with them and make sure they all have babies, that he would raise his own Jeffrey Epstein, I guess, cult or whatever you want to call it.
Keep the Jews alive.
Keep the Jews alive. Yes, he's the leader of the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I'm glad he's dead, but it just sucks that he's not going to turn on anyone. Like, he probably had enough stuff. If he was like, I'm going to bring you down Donald Trump, I'm sure the Democrats would be like, okay, your prison will consist of you can living in you can go free. It's fine. Just to bring down Donald Trump.
But he might have.
Yeah, that's why people are mad.
He still could. You never know.
I also like the fact that like Donald Trump could have just. I think Donald Trump said like, I'm going to have him killed. I'll retweet something about being Bill Clinton, and I'll be in the clear.
Yeah. And he's right.
Yeah. Now no one's okay. He retweeted. It must not be him. Speaking of pedophile rings, my favorite topic, the Boy Scouts apparently been accused by nearly 800 Boy Scouts have basically filed suit against the Boy Scouts, or 800 ex-Boy Scouts, accusing them of sex abuse. What is worse, the Boy Scouts or the church?
Don't you kind of know that's going to happen when you sign up to be a Boy Scout? I mean, isn't that kind of like a rite of passage?
That I hope your two hobbies aren't Boy Scouts and the church, because then you'd really
yeah.
It's just kind of amazing how maybe just one of the questions when you're signing up to be a Boy Scout leader is like, hey, are you going to molest the kids? Do I have to tell the truth? Nah, just come on in. You can do it.
Wouldn't that be like
want.
the most unlucky parenting if you send your kid for Boy Scouts and he complains about being touched? So you say, okay, I'll send you to Catholic school instead.
He's like, but Mom, you don't know what they did to me there. Fine, go back to
church.
Boy Scouts. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You can go hang out with Jeffrey Epstein.
If that doesn't work out, we'll send you to Neverland Ranch.
Yeah. I don't know. You're so lucky you get to hang out with all these amazing places. Just stop sending me places.
It sounds like an opposite Forrest Gump movie.
Right. It's Forrest Gump, but everywhere he goes, he gets molested.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you hear?
You're like, finally, I escaped. I'm in Thailand. No one in Thailand wants to molest young boys.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know who's going to put your finger up your butt.
There was this story out a few months ago that they were thinking about making a sequel to Forrest Gump. Did you see that article a while back?
I did,
so,
yeah.
I didn't see this, but in fairness, there's a book. There's a second book.
Yeah, there is a book, and I read it. It's kind of stupid, but the sequel was kind of almost a dark comedy. They said one of the things that was going to happen was he was going to be sitting outside the Oklahoma City building waiting for somebody, and it blew up behind him.
Wait, was this from The Onion?
No, I swear to God. It was he was supposed to meet some social worker or something for lunch, and he's sitting on the bench, and the building blows up behind him.
What,
God.
Is it 9/11 or?
It got it because of 9/11. They didn't make it.
Oh, this was supposed to be made a number of years ago, and that's when they...
Yeah.
Holy crap! Why would you want Forrest Gump involved in the Oklahoma City bombing?
I don't know. There was another funny scenario too, but I forgot what it was. But that one sticks in my head.
Ay.
When I first read it, I was like, that has to be The Onion or something like that.
By the way, we didn't do a show last week, and probably good we didn't do one because they had all those shootings.
Oh, and he was going to be in OJ's car.
That's
Sounds like a parody.
Yeah. It sounds like what we were just talking about with molestation, but yeah, that he just happens to be in OJ's car. Then what else would he be in? What other events? He's
Princess Diana.
He's giving flight lessons to some guys. You don't want to learn how to land? Okay, I'll teach you how to fly.
He's in the helicopter with that baseball player who flew into the building.
Would he just die though?
No, he's Forrest Gump, so he has a little parachute, and the baseball player dies, but Forrest Gump just runs into the next catastrophe.
The Diana one, maybe he takes a picture right before it's the picture that puts her crashes her car.
Right, he leaves the flash on and it blinds the driver. The driver crashes into the wall.
I had him as a ballroom dancer who was really good. He could do the ballroom dancing, and eventually, just as a charity thing, he danced with Princess Diana. I had him in the back of OJ's Bronco, Roth said while looking back on the script. He would look up occasionally, and you'd see his head sticking up out of the back of the car.
Oh, my God.
What was the other one?
He's nailing Monica Lewinsky, telling him that his name is Bill Clinton.
One of the big planned plot points of the sequel would have followed Forrest finding his calling as a bingo caller on a reservation, befriending a Native American woman. As Roth explains, every day he'd go wait for his Native American partner. She taught nursery school in a government building in Oklahoma City, and he was sitting on the bench waiting for her to have lunch, and all of a sudden the building behind him blows up.
Was this stuff in the book?
No, I don't know. I have the book. I read it.
So they just decided to just make the movie just complete nonsense.
When 9/11 occurred, we thought maybe it was a little meaningless. I would totally pay to see that.
It's like a Forrest Gump with a black cloud.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about last week?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No problem. He's like, oh, how do you get to Sandy Hook? Also, I gotta get to that elementary school. Oh, yeah, I was talking about they had all the shootings, and this article seems like almost out of the Onion because right after the shooting in Texas and El Paso, the state legislature passed gun laws to loosen. Basically, always passing to loosen gun rights. But listen to the things they were passing. So this is how basically people were held back in Texas with gun rights. In foster homes, previously, you were permitted to have a gun in a foster home, but you had to keep the gun and the bullets in separate places. But the Texas legislature makes it sure you can keep the gun and the bullets in the exact same place. That was an important law they passed.
Good.
So also church. Now, when you talk to God, you can have a gun with you.
That's good, just like Jesus intended.
Yeah.
That'll be like those people that were shooting at the hurricane that came. I could see them shooting at God.
Yeah.
That was the two I like. In schools, there were more rights to bring guns into schools. So apparently, you were allowed to basically bring your gun to school grounds and leave it in your car, and that wasn't allowed before.
Oh. And
also, if there was an emergency, like an earthquake or like a tornado, if you're fleeing your apartment, you're allowed to you can bring your gun with you. You don't have to leave it behind.
These all sound like really good things.
This is what the Texas legislature was working on at the time.
Yeah.
Also, it bans apartment.
You can bring your gun, but you have to leave your dog behind.
A landlord cannot say, "I will not rent to someone with a gun" or "no firearm clause." Like you're violating their Second Amendment rights if you try to rent someone. Say that your tenants can't have guns.
All these big tough guys in Texas went running like pussies when that guy walked in with a gun too. That's the funny part.
Of course, but you should run like a pussy because he had a gun.
No, I know, but everybody in Texas acts so tough. Like, oh, we have guns everywhere. We're gonna walk around with our fucking rifles because we're Texas and we're so tough. And then the guy walks into Walmart with a rifle and everybody runs. Like,
want to see a guy
I'd like to.
I just think it's funny, just ironic.
You want to see everyone holding bazookas with their dicks erect and shooting them at him?
I like that the guy walked into Walmart, the guy from Texas, and he walked in with headphones on, like gun headphones.
You like that?
Oh, I just thought it was kind of like, I don't know, like what kind of. I'm not like.
Right? I thought
it was ironic.
Are you gonna shoot up a Walmart also? Are you taking tips?
No.
Okay.
Hey, I'd like to rent this apartment. Is my arsenal okay? Oh yeah, definitely. What about my kitten? Nope. It's no pet apartment.
You could have 40 guns, but you can't be black.
That's Texas. So what else is going on, guys?
Let's see. I got.
Wait just 1 second before you go into. So someone sent me this article, a New York Times article that was highlighted about the Jeffrey Epstein thing. I meant to read this before. It says there was if you heard, there was two guards that were there, and one of them was a part-time guard and wasn't usually there. And so here's the article. Many of these staff members only receive a few weeks training in correctional work, and while required by contract to serve as substitutes, are often uncomfortable in the roles. Even workers who previously held correctional positions have said the practice was unsettling because fewer colleagues were on hand to provide backup if things turned ugly. I was on guard duty. When my shift ended, a new guard came. I'd never seen him before. I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Steve." And I said, "Steve what?" And he looks around for a second and says, he said, "Jail. My name is Steve Jail."
Steve, I'm here to kill Epstein.
I was tired, and it seemed legit, so I left," said the staff member, speaking on condition of anonymity. And
yeah, he's real anonymous. He's the guy who was on duty before he got killed.
So a friend sent me this morning. It looked like a New York Times article, but it turns out it was fake news that was trying to fool the us libtards.
Got us.
Yeah, I was. It also, I was like, the New York Times something about Steve Jail. Okay, go with your story.
Whose story?
Yeah, who
Did you
had
have
the
something to
story?
say?
I was gonna tell the story about how I got in trouble for an emoji at work.
Jay, have you found a new job yet?
I have not. No.
Is there anything in any prospects?
Nope.
Jay, can't you take down your company from the inside?
I mean, it really sounds
Can't you be a
awful.
whistleblower or something?
That's not a bad idea.
What would you blow a whistle to? We can't seem to bill people properly.
I mean, I'd have to find something.
We can't recycle properly.
Yeah.
I put plastic in there, and she was a bitch about it.
Yeah, so we have a Slack, that chat program,
Yeah.
and one of my coworkers, we have like a private chat where we all just, me and my coworkers are just bitch about work, and there's like a main channel with like
Can your company read your private Slack?
probably. Well, you know what? If they did, we'd all be gone by now. So I'm gonna.
Or
say
that's just the shit they're willing to take from you?
maybe.
Cost of doing business.
Yeah.
They're like, Jay seems miserable. I wonder how miserable he'll be when he can't recycle his plastic anymore.
How much more miserable can we make him?
Let's fuck with him about his emojis.
I mean, whoever's job it is to read those chats has the best job.
Really?
Yeah, I bet people are posting the funniest stuff all the time.
Okay. I would think it would just be like miserable reading other people. I would think it would kind of suck actually reading people's chats.
I don't know. If they're reading ours, it's pretty funny.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's a main chat for like everybody in this one group, which is like 500 people, and so they posted. We have like small offices with 2 desks in there,
Okay.
and somebody posted about how they made it more conducive to collaboration, and they removed the middle filing cabinet part and squeezed in a third seat. So these 3 people are all like scrunched in this one small office.
Yeah.
And so instead of posting it in the private chat, my buddy posted in the main chat saying they couldn't have given that poor guy a proper desk or something like that. And then he edited it really quick when he realized it was the wrong chat to just like the letter A or something. And so me and my other coworker just posted a bunch of emojis under it. And we got sent to the VP of the department's office and got lectured about emojis and what kind of message it sends and how it's inappropriate. And it's like we can't even like.
So you went to the principal's office at work.
That's literally what we call it, the principal's office.
What were you doing with emojis that like you had like?
She had no idea what emojis even were. She's like, yeah, I heard about emojis. I don't know what they are, but I heard a bomb and a skull. And like, what is that about? What does that mean? And we're like, me and my buddy are just trying not to laugh because it's just so ridiculous.
Did you get detention?
I mean, every day is detention.
Every day it just doesn't really get better.
No, I mean, yeah, it's the worst every day. But I'm in a decent mood today.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Why are you in a good mood? What happened?
I think my microdosing is working.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's hear about your shrooms. By the way, Jade likes his job so much that he started taking shrooms to deal with it.
That's how good of an environment it is.
Yes. Eventually, Jay would if this doesn't work, he'll switch to like Special K. He'll take horse tranquilizer to get through work.
I'll just start freebasing heroin.
There's just a needle sticking out of his arm. Jay, do you have that? I guess you're not gonna have the project, are you? Fucking doing heroin here. I'm not gonna have your project. Leave me alone.
I'm just like hunched over my computer, just drooling in a heroin coma.
Jay, about that emoji, I'm gonna start doing coke here if you don't shut the fuck up.
But yeah, it's I think it's been pretty good so far.
Really? So, how long have you been taking this for?
Just twice, 2 weeks.
Oh, you take it on the weekend only, right?
Only on Sunday.
You take it on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you took it two
2 days.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
And what's the feeling when you actually take it?
It's not much because it's a very small amount. You feel a little cloudy, like if you had, like a shot or two. You're kind of in like a decent mood, and you feel like just I don't know. Like the other day, I felt like just accomplishing a couple things that I have on my list, like small things, like I meant to fix this cabinet or whatever. So I was like walking around like checking things off of my to-do list, and then I was just in like a pretty happy mood the rest of the evening. And it seems to have carried over like 2 days later. Like things at work that would normally make me flip out and get super angry, I am kind of like acknowledging that it's annoying, but like not letting it really bother me.
Jay, we've noticed you have a much better attitude at work. You seem much more productive. What's changed? I started taking illegal narcotics.
I mean, it's legal.
They're like,
places.
just that's fine, Jay. Just go with it. We prefer this attitude.
Exactly.
If you need us to get you a dealer, we'll get you a dealer.
You have been much easier to get along with lately. So it's.
I mean, if someone was working for you and they suddenly became so much more productive in such a better mood, and they told you that was happening because they were freebasing cocaine, you would just say, "Sounds good."
Right. Carry on.
Okay. Wonderful. But this conversation didn't happen. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. So I would say so far, the week one I feel like didn't really work, but that was because I had an interview and I thought I was getting the job, and I was literally expecting an offer, and then I did not get it, and so I feel like that negated whatever effects, whatever positive effects I had for week one.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
Because I've been trying to get out for a while, and I
Have you?
really thought I had it. I really did.
Did they say it was because they were Brick of Sanity fans?
Can you imagine? This show will end in 1 second if I find out I didn't get the job because of this show.
That would be amazing if, like, you just like in the interview they just like
Played you a clip, something.
or just carefully put in like little references to the show.
I would just be like, how did you find it? Because I before the interview, I'm like Googling my name to see if like it's even possible to find this show, and I couldn't find anything.
They're like, oh, Jay, you'd be wonderful here. It wouldn't be like black mold in your apartment. Well, I'll just leave now.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we don't have any stick men working here. I'd be like, okay, good talk. Goodbye.
Best thing about this office is there's no little ants. Fuck Marc.
Well, maybe I get the job because they think I'm one of you guys, and then when they find out it's me, they're like, nope.
They're like, we're really excited. I mean, like, you have a house in the suburbs. You must be successful. No, that's not. I'm the one with in the black mold. That part. Oh shit.
I'm the black mold shroom taker. Oh, okay. Bye.
We think you're really brave. You confronted Stickman. Again, not me. Not me.
Yeah, so I'll keep you guys up to date on if it gets better, progressively better.
How much do you take?
They come in little packages, so like it's whatever's in there.
Okay.
I didn't weigh it or whatever. It's in like almost like pill packages where you push the pill through the other side.
Yeah. How much does it cost you? Like, what's a hit?
Like $3.
Okay. I mean, it's worth it to make your life a lot better.
It was less.
Hey, I went to that website and I kind of like did an order, but that website's so weird because like they confirm your order without paying it, and then they send you an email telling you how to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't follow through with it because I didn't. This was last week after you said you didn't think it was very good, so I was like, well, hell with it.
Are you going to do it now, Bri?
I might. I just have to figure out how to pay for it because I don't.
Yeah, my buddy said he had to do a bank transfer.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that. They take Bitcoin, but I don't think I have enough Bitcoin to
It's
It
weird.
was only like $20 or something, but
The company selling drugs online makes it kind of a sketchy process to buy it, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, you said you did the bank transfer and it was fine. Are you looking for micros or like full?
That website, I don't know. I clicked the link you gave me.
Yeah, but they have a packet of micros and then they have like the full
I think I
trip.
just did the micros.
Okay.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, you can get like a full trip's worth too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure I want drugs being mailed to me.
I mean, if this works for Brian, maybe we should all start taking it.
Take a full and then just do a podcast.
Show would get better.
So, do you guys want to do a couple questions?
Yeah, I always I write down topics that I want to or just ideas for things to cover in the show. And now I have a pretty long list of things we've never talked about. Do you want to hear a random list of stuff?
Sure.
My first topic, which I always see when I open up this list, is belts are depressing.
Why?
I don't know if you guys agree. Belts, just like the belt you wear.
Why?
I don't know. I always feel like the belt, whatever you want the belt to fit at, as soon as the belt doesn't fit the way it was fitting before, you're like, oh, what the fuck's happening to myself? They're a reminder if you're gaining weight. Whereas your pants don't have to be a reminder as much as your belt is.
Right.
You have a marker on there saying, here's where. I guess you guys don't agree.
I never really found belts depressing. I find them a lot of times unnecessary. Using them as an accessory, I find weird. Yeah,
I agree with you there on that too. I'll go a little faster with the topics. Where are my dad lessons? There's the least guidance on the most important thing I do. Ticket confirmation numbers.
Wait. Where are my dad lessons?
Yeah, being a lesson of being your dad, being a dad.
Oh, I thought you wanted to know where your dad was. Like your dad abandoned you, and
no, but the one of the things you do in life, if you have kids, that's probably one of the most important things you're doing is trying not to fuck up the youth. The most important thing you're doing for society is not sending more people out there that are more fucked up than you are, and you get no guidance on that. Ticket and I kind of want to ticket and confirmation numbers. Every time you call something, they're like, do you want your confirmation number? I never fucking want my confirmation number.
No, why would you? You just lose it 2 seconds later. Just email it or text it or something.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, the confirmation you take in, they're like 764277653278765 and you're like, fine, I fucking wrote it down. Next time you call, you're like, I have my confirmation number. They're like, oh, we don't need that.
Yeah.
Devaluing of pictures. It used to be you go to the store, you develop your pictures, every picture kind of mattered. Now you take 1,000 pictures a day of nothing, basically, and you never look at these pictures again, but you have to get a picture of everything.
I stopped doing that too.
Yeah.
I don't have pictures of anything anymore.
Because I have kids, I have probably more pictures. I have a lot. I do take a lot of pictures still, but if I'm not with my kids, I just don't need a picture of things. And even then, I've tried to do less more, even with the kids. Don't take as many pictures because they don't matter. You'll just remember be in the goddamn moment.
Yeah, if you take a picture every month or two, it's plenty. Your kids aren't going to want to look through 1,000 pictures of themselves, and you're not ever going to want to do that either.
Unless you're at some kind of occasion where you're on vacation or something like that, take a picture of that.
Yeah.
But you don't have to get every goddamn everyday thing.
Yeah.
And it also just takes away from everything when you have to take pictures of everything.
It's annoying.
Just like people who videotape the concerts. Just be at the concert.
Yeah.
You're never going to want to watch this video. Under the gun being used as a weird metaphor at work. Anytime you talk to people and they're busy, or I'm under the gun. It's kind of a violent metaphor for work.
Yeah. I've actually never said that at work.
Have you never heard people say that though? Bri, have you heard people say that under the gun?
Not really. Not at work.
Oh. Just at Walmart?
It's just your weird place, I guess.
I don't know. I hear people say that. Mistyping things. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, do this at all, but I notice when I type stuff, sometimes I mistype something, but I mistype like what I'm thinking. Like it's something completely different than what I'm thinking. What I'm trying to write. Do you guys have anything where you type something, you're typing something completely wrong?
Sometimes.
No.
You know, it'd be like I'm trying to type the word think, and I write thing, and the K and the G aren't near each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've done that just because like it'll be a word that I type a lot, so it's just like muscle memory. But I'm trying to type a different word at that that time.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not the only one that does that. Pick back up desk scene. You know, in every movie you see like someone like gets frustrated and like throws everything off their desk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the following scene where they're cleaning things up.
Also, that never happens in real life.
Never happens.
You do that once, you're like gone.
You also would have to pick shit back up, so like that's why you don't do that.
Yeah. But like you're not allowed to throw temper tantrums at work like that.
I threw one last week. I can't believe I didn't get fired.
What'd you do?
I just had a fucking meltdown. I was swearing at everybody in the office.
Really?
Why?
My boss. Yeah, everybody.
Why?
People were coming over to me. I was like, just get the fuck away from me. Like, I must have dropped so many F-bombs. It was out of control.
Do you mind expanding on this story?
Yeah.
It's work related. So, I mean, it's hard to really explain it. It's just like I had to do something like 3 times because the attorney that I was doing it for is just so unprepared and so just do it. Like, doesn't care how things get done. Like, just she had a client that had a settlement and the guy was there and I did the checks and then like I was supposed to break up the checks a certain way because he had to put certain money into an account and stuff, and I gave him like the whole check. Like all right, just say for example he was getting like $200,000. He was supposed to get a check for like 15,000 and then like 185 because he had to take this 15,000 to do something with it. Okay. And I was like, can't he just take the fucking 200,000, put it in the bank, and then move the 15,000? And she was like, no, he can't. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because he can't. So I had to like redo the whole thing, and then I forgot to do something else with it, so I had to do it a third time, and then I had to like redo this whole sheet that the guy had to sign with all the different numbers on it and everything. And then like, and he was waiting and she was like pacing at my desk while I was trying to do it. And I just snapped. I was like, just get away. Just because she's sitting at my desk talking to like behind my desk, talking to like 4 people while I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, can you just get the fuck away from me and go somewhere else and talk? Because I'm trying to do this for you. And like, and then like people kept coming over and giving me stuff while I was trying to do that. And it was just a mess. I almost walked out. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but just in the moment, I
get it. This sounds like it's at least 3 days a week at my place.
Yeah, but I mean, I got to the point I said, I don't even fucking care. I just started swearing at everybody. I was like, don't anybody talk to me. And then the next day, this was Tuesday, and then when I came in Wednesday, nobody said a word to me the entire day, to the point that I think somebody said, don't talk to me today.
And it was great, wasn't it?
It was great, but it was weird because like I would say something and like nobody would really respond, and I'm like, oh, well, that's weird.
That's awesome.
It was such a meltdown. It was great.
I think I need to freak out at work. Have nobody talk to me.
They're like, someone's going to work that day, honey, and it's like, what time are you going to be home today from work? You're like, I don't know. Brian might just shoot us all today, so hopefully I'll just be home. I'll let you know how it goes.
I'll be home by 6 unless Brian murders everybody.
I always tell people, I'm like, I know you guys all think I'm going to come in one day and shoot you all, but I'm not really that violent, so I don't think I will.
But I don't have a gun. I only have a taser.
Yeah. I only have my words.
Yeah, that's guys, I just want to let you know, I'm not going to come in here and shoot you guys. Oh, we weren't worried about that until you said it. Great.
I would love to have seen that.
Oh, it was epic.
You've been quite emotional lately, Bri.
Yeah.
Everything okay, Bri?
I'm finally snapping, I think.
Are we still going to the Met game next week?
Oh, that's a good question. Are we?
Jay?
I already said yes, so I can't really back out.
Okay, should we buy this ticket soon?
Sure.
Probably before the game.
That would be good. How about Bri? You pick some tickets, and we can either pay you back. Do you want to pick the tickets?
I guess if I have to.
I'll send you the money, PayPal, Venmo, whatever. I'll send it to you right away. Maybe I was just thinking maybe you would be the right person to pick the tickets.
Well, I'll tell you who's not the right person. Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think that was a given, Jay.
Why don't we? Let's go by what Bri thinks as far as what tickets he wants to get.
All right, I'll take a look. What's our budget? $50.
Jay.
I could go a little higher. That's fine.
So you want to let's keep it under 100.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously, I don't want to spend that much.
Like $60.
All right,
Something like that.
see what I can find. Anybody
Okay.
have any preferences? Infield, outfield?
Nope.
Probably better view of this. Infield probably makes more sense than outfield.
All right, I'll take a look tomorrow.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm on the Mushroom website. Trying to take a look here. Oh, it's €5, but it's €17 to ship. Oh, okay. I see how that works out.
Yeah. My buddy said it was really cheap, but most of the money was spent on shipping.
Yeah.
That's probably why he bought for me too, just to save money on
Which
shipping.
ones did you get? The Alien?
Uh,
Microdose? Just the microdose thing?
yeah, it was like the microdose with the 6-pack.
Chocolate truffles? Whatever?
It was called Truffles. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Six
he
souls,
got 3 6-packs for me and 3 6-packs for him.
Let's take a look at it again. Not sure I want to commit mail fraud, or not mail fraud, but
Well, I mean, it comes in an unmarked package, and it's so vacuum
how long did it
sealed
take to get?
less than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it just come with something that says this box does not contain illegal drugs? Other random topics I have. You know how wrestling always has there are bad guys in wrestling.
Yeah.
And we were kids. It was always like a bad guy that was like Russia, a bad guy that was some rich dude.
Nikolai Volkov, the $1 Million Man.
Iron
Yeah.
Sheik.
Yep.
So I would do wrestling again, but the bad guys should be like real life bad guys, like student debt, bad medical insurance, credit card interest rate,
Republicans.
Republicans, micromanaging boss.
Pedophile ringleaders. Stand-up comics that say offensive things.
Kevin Spacey.
Presidents who go on Twitter.
Louis C.K.
So you just want the bad guys in wrestling to be concepts?
Yeah. That'd be great.
I don't even know how that would work, really.
Texting while driving.
They would just have that name on them. Also, I want to recast all movies, but take out one of the main characters and make it the Swamp Thing.
Have you even seen the Swamp Thing?
I don't even care what happened to the Swamp Thing. I just want that character in movies. Like, it'd be great if it was like Ocean's 11, but one of the 11 was like Swamp Thing.
You know they made a TV show and it got canceled after one episode?
One episode.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing or Ocean's 11?
Swamp Thing.
Oh.
Yeah. That must have been a pretty good episode.
Apparently it was very good, but I don't know. It was either budget or disagreements with the director or whatever. They aired the whole season, but they announced the cancellation after one episode.
Yeah.
But like everyone who's seen it says it's awesome. So I don't know.
When Harry Met Sally, but like Sally's a Swamp Thing.
I'd be down for that.
How'd you make out with your movies with your son? You come up with any more?
You know, we ended up watching. They watched Parent Trap.
Okay.
It was okay. I was looking at like what we had. I had like a free on demand, and that was the only thing. There weren't really that good of choices. And it was also a problem was also because of my daughter's like 5. A lot of the choices aren't that great for her age.
Right.
When I was a kid, we liked The Trouble with Angels.
Never heard of that.
It's like a 60s movie, and there's like 2 two girls go to like Catholic school, and one of them's a goody two shoes, and one of them's a troublemaker, and the troublemaker keeps getting them both in trouble. It's decent.
Okay.
I mean, it was hysterical when I was like 5 or 6.
So my list right now of movies that we have to watch, but we haven't watched yet, are Little Shop of Horrors, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Spaceballs, Muppets, Jumanji, and Apple Dumpling Gang.
I don't know the last one.
I remember we watched it in school, and remember being really funny.
I don't think Little Shop of Horrors is very good.
Yeah, we actually watched half of that at like my cousin's house, and they really liked it a lot.
Really?
So you do not think it was good, or you did think it was good?
I did not think it was very good.
Oh, my kids really liked it. I remember liking that as a kid.
I know I saw it. I don't remember it.
It's the plant that eats people.
Yeah, no, I know. I just don't have any I know I saw it, but I don't have any memory of seeing it. I guess I just forgot.
It's a forgettable movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was. It's very campy also.
Like Steve Martin's part is good, and that's about it.
Yeah, he's pretty good. We had a thing, other topics, and I'll be done with my topics in a second. So my wife would always give, my kids are going somewhere and they need water with them, because kids, for every reason, they always need water with them. She'd give them plastic water bottles, and I'd be like, you can't give them plastic, but that's bad for the environment. We should use reusable water bottles. That makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like, no, we can't do that. They're gonna lose them. And I'm like, what are you just give them the reusable one. We had a whole back and forth. Then we sent our kids somewhere where they had to bring water bottles with them, and they both lost their reusable ones. And she's like, oh, how's that for the environment?
How though?
Just no goddamn winning.
How?
How do they lose stuff?
Yeah.
They lose everything. They're kids.
They're kids.
They put something down and then just leave it there because they're kids. I had, when my son was in kindergarten, he lost, I think it was 5 hats in a matter of 2 weeks in the winter. We kept playing him a hat. We're you have to remember the hat. He's like, I don't know what happened to it. I'm like, you just went to school. How do you forget you lose your hat?
I say how, but I lost sunglasses at Baruch 3 days in a row, and I was in my 30s, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can do some questions.
So.
Oh, just one last thing. Have you noticed when you do give tips to things that they no longer give 15% as an option?
Yeah. Starts at 18.
Yeah, it's 18, 20, or 25%. I was at one place where it was counter service, and one of the suggestions was 30%. For fucking, there's counter service. They're not even delivering it to your table, and they're asking for 30%.
How about pay your employees a full wage?
It's so fucking annoying. First of all, if you get something if it's just counter service, but they're not even delivering it to you, you give a tip?
Pickup? Is that what you're talking about?
It's just you go to a place where you just buy it at it'd be equivalent of buying a beer at a bar, which I know I tip at a bar. But you're ordering food and they just give it to you right there. If you're at a food stand.
No, I'll put maybe $1.
It's then they when you pay on credit card, they're 18, 20, 25%, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
That was the best thing about Asia. There was no tipping in restaurants. There's no tipping really ever.
I mean, outside the U.S., there's a lot less tipping.
And guess what? The restaurants are able to stay profitable. How about that? And the food wasn't ridiculously expensive.
And the service was fine, right?
And the service was great.
I've never gotten good service because someone wanted a tip. No one seems to give a shit about that part of it. No matter what the service is like, they expect the exact same tip.
Yeah.
We took a cab back from the airport. The guy used the credit card, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not getting the internet's not working very well. I'll just I'll put your card in when I get a better signal." And I was like, fine. So the guy drives off, and then I find out afterwards, he not only did he run my credit card, but gave himself a 20% tip.
Jesus.
And the guy was late also to pick us up, and I was like, what the fuck? You gave yourself your own 20% tip?
I bet
And
his
so I
internet
called-
was fine, and that's his little trick.
Yeah, probably.
I called up to complain, and the guy's like, "Well, your only options are either give it full 20% or we go to 0. You want to give him no tip?" It's like, fucking A.
Why is that the options?
Well, they
That's
basically ended
their
up,
second scam.
they basically ended up giving me a $3 credit on our next cab. And I'm like, I don't fucking want to use you guys again. Now I have to for this $3 credit just because I wanted to call up and go, you shouldn't give yourself your own fucking 20% tip.
I'd eat the 3 and not go to them again.
No, there was no option for me to get the $3 back.
Yeah, whatever. Just call it a loss and don't go to them again.
Yeah, I probably should do that. But now I want my $3.
You really are Jewish.
Thanks, Jack. If you don't get your next job, I hope the interview is Jewish and goes, I heard the show. We don't hire anti-Semites, Jay.
I know something from this is going to bite me at some point.
Okay, do questions.
Lorenzo writes, hey guys, there are a lot of podcasts happening at the moment, so I delved back in. There are not a lot of podcasts happening at the moment, so I delved back into episode 260 from 2016, the valve cap one. Marc is talking about how his car that tells you when your tire pressure is low. It is now 3 years after this podcast, and I've still never seen this myself, and my wife and I both have a newer model cars, 2016 models. Marc, bet that you couldn't buy a new car in 2016 without this feature. It is still not a thing here in Australia.
Really? Because I think it's a feature on all cars now. It's just one of those things where like they want to be able to tell you what your tire pressure is. I mean, the whole car is a computer now.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really annoying. I had a leak in my tire, and they said it was from where you put the valve cap, the cap on the valve. The valve was like there's a slight leak there, and they're like, "Oh, we just have to replace this." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's like a small little thing. That'll probably be like $2." The guy's like, "No, it's $200 because in back of here is a computer, the computer that sends the message about the tire pressure to your car, and so either basically you give me $200 or your car will always say you can replace it with like a rubber one without the computer, but your car always says you have a flat tire."
Well, speaking of that, I'll tell you a funny story. My dad, in my mom's car that we still have and use every now and then, his check engine light comes on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's an older car, so he's just like, whatever. And every time he goes, he brings it to this one place and they just reset it. And he had to go for emissions. And so the light comes on, and usually he'll drive around or something, the light will go off. He's like, I can't get the light to go off. And I forgot that like 2 years ago, I bought something on Groupon for my car, and with it came like a thing that you could plug into the car, and it'll tell you what the code is for the check engine light to figure out what it is. Okay. So I bring it over, we plug it into the car. It says it's something that's not a big deal or whatever, and then it gives you the option to turn the light off. So we're like, all right, turn the light off. So we do that, and then he's driving the next day, and the light comes on again, and he plugs the thing in, and he turns the light off. And then a couple days later, he brings it in for emissions, and they're doing the emissions, and they come out, and they said, your car failed. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, did you shut your check engine light off somehow? And he's like, no, what are you talking? He's playing dumb. He's like, no, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you have like 3 errors, but for some reason your check engine light wasn't on. Somehow it got reset. He's like, oh, I don't know. I must have hit a bump and the light went out or something. So he couldn't pass emissions because the light wouldn't go out. So he had to drive. So they were like, well, just drive the car around until it comes on again and then bring it back in. He drove it for a week and he couldn't get the light to come back on.
Wait, why does he need the light to come back on?
I don't know.
They need the code to like know what's going on.
Yeah, something because they had to fix the problem. They couldn't fix the problem without the light or something.
Why?
Because the light would just keep coming on. I don't know. The way he was explaining it to me, it was just funny though because he's like, no, I don't know what he's talking about. The light never comes on. They're like, well, in our record says your light's always on. So he kind of got caught lying. Yeah, and eventually he got the thing fixed, but whatever. The moral of the story is if you have one of those things that shuts your light off, it doesn't solve the problem.
Well, if the check engine light comes on, I would assume there's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and you have this thing that plugs in and it tells you what the problem is, but then it shuts the light. It doesn't, and then it shuts the light off for you, but it doesn't solve the problem. So you could
Oh.
have like a major problem, but you just shut the light off, and you'll never know.
The car is actually on fire right now. But I shut the check engine thing off, so it's all good.
I don't get the point of that device.
What?
I don't
Yeah,
get the
what's the-
point of that
I-
device.
Well, because you could find out if it's something major or something minor.
But you need to fix it either way.
If you're
right?
getting ripped off by the mechanic.
Is there usually a code of what's actually wrong?
Yeah.
Like, is it in the manual?
I don't think so.
Like with the manual, if they give a code, the codes are usually in the manual.
I thought it was just a red light that comes on.
Yeah, it's just a light, but if you plug it in, it gives you like a specific code. Because like if your engine light comes on and you bring it to a mechanic, they just plug it in and they get the same code.
Oh, and then they fix it.
Right. Or shut the light off, one or the other.
So he was he was doing this, seeing major problems with the car,
Yeah.
and being like, okay, I'll turn it off. As long as it's off, nothing can be wrong.
Right, and he didn't care about that, but he had to try to pass emissions, and he couldn't pass emissions for it.
Oh, it does seem like a weird device.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you, in general, want to bring your car in, even if it's a minor issue, so it doesn't become a major issue?
Well, I guess you can kind of like before you go in know what you're dealing with, so you can find out if your mechanic's ripping you off or not, or making shit up.
Your flipper flopper doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, I got a device that says flipper flopper does work. Jay, don't you wish you owned a car?
Yeah, it sounds great.
A car, a house, all these wonderful things that can drive you crazy.
Andrew writes, why does Mark have the attention span of a squirrel? Did you always have the attention span of a squirrel?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the internet's made it worse.
Probably.
I'll blame the internet for this.
All right, because of the internet. That is why.
I find my ability to read is pretty like low these days. Like even stuff I want to read, like I'm something online, I want to read it, I kind of just skim it.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Jay, do you find your ability to read has got like because you so much shit you read on the internet, like you've almost become worse at reading.
It depends if I'm into it or not. Like, yeah, internet articles I skim, but like I still read books and stuff.
I recently read a book. Like I was away on vacation. I read a book, and I was like, "That's the first time I just sat and actually read a book in God knows forever."
Yeah, no, I read a book every day because I take the subway and I just read on the subway.
That's pretty good. I usually when I take the train, I just watch a TV show.
Yeah. Rob writes, so I got free tickets to Slipknot the other week, and I was wondering whatever happened to the other new metal bands from back in the day. My question is, what was your guys' opinion on new metal at the time versus now, and what bands would you still stick up for now from that genre?
I was a big fan of those bands.
Yeah, Brian liked all of them.
Yeah.
What is considered new metal?
Bands like Korn.
Slipknot, Stained, Godsmack, Limp Bizkit, Seven Dust.
There was a whole
Static
Yeah.
X.
I didn't realize that was a whole like. I mean, I understand all this stuff was a little different sounding. I didn't realize that was considered its own genre.
Yeah, it was basically anything that sort of was like metal and kind of rapped, or they had like a DJ was considered like new metal, NU metal. A lot of those bands are still around.
Yeah, Seven Dust is still around.
Yeah, Seven Dust. I just saw them a couple months ago.
So you right, you don't like think it's shit metal.
Some of it I thought was shit at the time and is still shit at the time, or is still shit now. There's a few bands that I like from that are still clanging around.
I mean, I'm looking at the people who consider it I'm on the Wikipedia page, and so they say Korn, which I liked Korn at first.
I've never been a big Korn fan. I liked Limp Bizkit at the time. I thought they had a cool sound, but they got a little too full of themselves. If you listen to their older, like their original album, it's still pretty good. It's still pretty heavy. I'm a big Deftones fan. They were sort of in that genre too. They're still doing new stuff, although their last album kind of sucked. But
they count Kid Rock in this.
Well, his first album was like that. before
Yeah.
he like did all
Papa
that country
Roach,
bullshit.
Stained.
Papa Roach is terrible. Stained is terrible.
You like Stain's
POD.
first album.
POD is terrible. What?
Lincoln.
Stain's first album.
Their first album was good, and then they just went to shit right after that. And now the singer like does like hit country. He does like solo country shows, and he gets heckled all the time, and he throws fans out of his shows because they just heckle him all the time. And he's gone like real rednecky, like Republican-y, like just redneck shit.
I mean, his music sounds. I mean, most of these bands sound terrible.
Most of them were. There's like I said, there was a couple of good ones. I was always privy to the Deftones. I like Seven Dust, although I didn't really call them new metal because they were kind of just. They didn't really rap, but they had a black singer. But Slipknot, I kind of go in and out of. I liked them a lot when they came out, and then they sort of. They're the type of band that like they take themselves too seriously. Like they think what they're doing matters too much. Like I've heard like the lead singer say once, like, "Oh, I like to use big words so kids will look up words in the dictionary and learn." It's like, shut the fuck up. They think they're like what they're doing is like they think if they went away, like anybody would notice.
I'm a new metal poet.
I liked Godsmack's first album.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some like good songs I've heard from these.
Most of the band, like Korn has like 40 albums and they're all the same song. And Godsmack's kind of the same way too. Their first album was pretty good, and then everything else is just like the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
They have a list of like the predecessors to this music and bands that really influenced this. And there's actually some pretty good bands on this list. They include Primus. You guys remember Helmet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Helmet. Who else? Red Hot Chili Peppers that count. Nine Inch Nails, White Zombie.
I never liked Nine Inch Nails. Never got into them.
They have some pretty good songs. Jay, you like Nine Inch Nails?
Yeah. I don't love them, but I like them.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine.
Same.
I'm starting to think Rage Against the Machine was overrated.
Yeah.
But that might just be my old crank.
They only have a couple of good songs.
Yeah.
They really don't have a ton of good songs. But like Killing in the Name of is like a very, very good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a few. I like Sleep Now in the Fire.
Bulls on Parade.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like 2 good songs per album, but they only had like 4 albums. So
yeah.
They had like just enough.
Yeah,
for, like,
I think it was only 3. It was even 4, but people act like they've been around forever, and they were just like a fireball. Like they came out, they were big, and then they broke up, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I do agree. Also, is like if everyone makes them like seem like one of these great all-time great bands, and you're like,
yeah,
there's like 2 songs per album at most that were like good, and then that's pretty much it.
They were only a band for like 10 years, maybe.
Gonna get to the bottom of this right now. 9 years.
What? 9 years?
9 years.
Yeah.
And
well, obviously they were a band longer than that, but I mean, like when their albums came out.
Yeah, four albums.
What's considered their best songs outside the ones we mentioned? There's Bomb Track,
Killing in the Name of probably, and then Bulls on Parade.
Bomb Track,
probably Bomb Track. Ghost of Tom Joad, How Can I Kill a Man, which is a cover, or they're both covers actually.
So yeah, they had 4 albums, but the 4th album was a cover album.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a.
And they had the song from the Godzilla soundtrack, which was really good.
What song was that? They also had Year of the Boomerang, which I thought was a pretty good song. No Shelter?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah.
I must know that one. I don't recall it, but
that was from Godzilla?
Apparently.
Yeah. So it's only on that album.
What do you think is the best? Because I'm seeing this here. What I think was one of the best movie soundtracks ever. I would say the Crow soundtrack was one of the greatest movie soundtracks ever.
I couldn't tell you what's on there.
Do you remember when movie soundtracks actually were like good?
Yeah, Beetlejuice soundtrack's
I
good.
just read an article about that movie soundtracks.
Rocky IV soundtrack.
Really? What's on there?
If you like classic rock, Forrest Gump is probably the best soundtrack.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I agree with that.
Rocky IV had No Easy Way Out, Burning Heart, Eye of the Tiger, Hearts on Fire. That's about it.
Ghostbusters was a good soundtrack. Batman was a good soundtrack.
Yeah. I'm looking at the. I remember the Crow soundtrack being really good. I'm looking at not a lot of stuff actually. Like there are a lot of. There's a song by Helmet. There's Violent Femmes has a song on here. Nine Inch Nails, Stone Temple Pilots.
And Terminator 2
Cure.
have a good soundtrack. I know they had the Guns N' Roses song.
Which one?
Terminator 2.
I don't remember that one. I remember on a more not so heavy music. Reality Bites had a really good soundtrack.
Garden State has a good soundtrack. Not heavy, but just
Top all-time movie soundtracks.
I just read an article about that a few weeks ago, like a month or so ago.
Was it on J Loves Music?
I don't think so.
Jay, why wasn't it on J Loves Music?
It was a very time-consuming website.
Is J Love Music? Does Jay no longer love music?
Oh, I listen to more music now than when I was doing the site because I don't have to spend an hour and a half writing up each album when I'm done with it.
So Jay Love Music kind of killed your interest in music?
It kind of did. I kept downloading albums and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna listen to this." Oh, I can't. I'm not near a computer. I can't do a write up on it.
So the people that took your brunch idea,
Yeah.
you should also take your J Loves Music idea. Like
Why
one
not?
day you're gonna go back to the internet and it's gonna be the exact same thing. It'll be like Jay loves music even more, and it'll be like huge.
It's gonna be like Jake loves music.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here's according to Pitchfork, the top 10 music movie soundtracks of all time. Number 10, Pulp Fiction. You guys remember that one?
Yeah,
I
I have
never
that.
saw
one.
Pulp Fiction.
I have the Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs soundtracks.
You never saw the movie Pulp Fiction?
No.
Did you go out of your way to like just avoid mainstream things?
He does.
Sometimes. We've had this conversation before. I think you could go through. You could probably name like the top 100 movies of the last 20 years, and I've probably only seen like 10 of them.
It's just kind of amazing you haven't seen some of these things.
I know.
Have you seen Forrest Gump?
Yeah.
Okay. What about I don't know. Have you seen Naked Gun? That was
Yes.
a random movie that I actually might ask.
Yes.
RoboCop?
Yes. I love RoboCop.
Okay. Die Hard?
Yes.
Number 9 on the list is Help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Alright.
a great album.
Yeah. And the Beatles are great. Number 8 is Rushmore, which I did not know was a great soundtrack.
That's a great movie.
That's a great movie, yeah.
I can't think of any songs from it.
No, I can't think I didn't know that was a big soundtrack. Number 7 is Lost in Translation soundtrack.
Can't think of any songs from that. That was a great movie too.
I don't really love that movie. Jay, you a fan of that movie?
Never saw it.
I feel like it was so you're a big fan of that movie?
Yeah, I liked it.
Number 6
I haven't seen it since it came out. If I watch it again, I might not like it, but I remember really liking it.
I remember it being really slow. Number 6, but that was kind of the point of it. It was part of it being. Number 6, Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
Number 5, Space Odyssey, 2001.
Great movie.
I never saw that one. This one I never saw.
That's a slow movie.
Number 4, The Harder They Come.
No, I don't know that one.
I don't know that one. Number 3, Train Spotting.
Yep, I have that soundtrack. That
I
one's
don't think
good.
I ever saw that either.
Number
How did you
2,
live with me and not watch Train Spotting? I put that on like every
Did I
time.
watch it? Maybe I watched it. Maybe I did. I don't think I did. I don't remember it.
I don't love this list. Number 2 is Purple Rain, which obviously was a very popular soundtrack. And number 1 is Superfly.
Okay. All right. Not a great list.
No, you could do a better list on your. You want to bring back J Love's music?
Yeah, maybe I could. I might put Clockwork Orange on there.
That'd be a pretty good one. What else would you put on there, Jay? Let's just say Fuck you. Actually, I don't know if you're actually going to write this, but what else do you put on there? You're the music expert.
You want me to come up with it off the top of my head without any research whatsoever?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. That's what I want you to do. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do your research. That'll be that'll be awesome. We'll bring that back. It'll be a cliffhanger for next episode.
I don't even. I think Beetlejuice is a really good soundtrack.
What's on that soundtrack? Do you remember?
It's all. I mean, it's mostly just the Danny Elfman.
Is that the one I have? I have a double. It's Pee-wee's Big Adventure and somebody else. Is it Beetlejuice?
Because Danny Elfman did Pee-wee's Big Adventure too.
It might be that then. Yeah.
I mean, it's got like the Jump in the Line and whatever that other song was, but it's mostly just instrumentals, but it's good. Big Lebowski, Reservoir Dogs, Rocky, Pulp Fiction, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, those are all pretty good ones.
The Muppet Movie.
That's a good one.
Do they still do movie soundtracks? Is that like still a thing?
Yeah.
Or is it just because they don't sell albums anymore in general?
Yeah, no, they still do.
Do you think they're like the current generation, the millennial? What's the current generation called?
I don't know. Shitheads.
Millennials.
Generation Z, or the shitheads basically. Do they buy albums anymore?
I mean, they buy digital albums.
No, I mean, but like when you buy an artist, like are they buying the album, or are they usually just buying songs?
I think some people buy albums. You know what their number one album on iTunes is right now?
I don't, Jay.
Slipknot.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not very good either.
Oh.
I listened to it the other day.
Do you have the top 5 list?
Yeah.
What's number 2?
Rick Ross.
What's he sing?
I have no idea. Number 3 is Tori Kelly.
How many do you have to read before I know one?
A lot. Trippie Redd is number 4. Bon Iver's 5. I mean, I don't know any of these guys either. See how far down the list I have to go.
Oh, it's Back to School.
You guys know that song, Old Town Road?
No.
I know where you're going with this. Is that like an old song that the new guy did? Is that what it is?
Yeah, by Little Nas. My kids love the song. It's Little Nas featuring Billy Ray Cyrus. So it's like a country/rap song.
Well, out of the top 32, I only know Slipknot.
You're kidding me.
No.
Keep reading. Let's see if I have anything else I've heard of.
You're not. Social House, Baz, B-A-S, PJ Morton, Pete Yorn, Blueface.
Oh, I love Pete Yorn. Pete Yorn's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's he sing?
He's like a singer-songwriter type of thing. But he's really good.
What's a song by him?
He has a couple of songs in Me, Myself, and Irene.
What are the songs?
I forget what songs are in that movie. I forget, but like 3 of the songs from the movie are his.
Okay.
Listen to his first 2 albums are really good. I listened to this new one once. It was alright. I wasn't paying that much attention to it. I have to listen to it again, but he's really good at what?
I just went to his page and they mentioned Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah. He does a song with Scarlett Johansson. This isn't bad. Yeah, he's somebody you wouldn't expect that I would like, but I really like him a lot. Actually, he's one of the. I saw him at a little place like a year and a half ago. It was like the best show I saw in forever. It was so good. Actually, it was just on Kimmel last night, and I forgot to tape it.
What else up there?
You're not gonna know any of them.
Well, you surprisingly, Bri, like you named someone and Bri's like, I love him.
Yeah, no, I've heard of Pete Yorn. I just didn't know what he did. I'm telling you, you're not gonna know the rest.
I bet I know at least one more.
Okay, Burger Bet.
Is Burger Bet one of the bands, or you're making me one?
All right, real quick. August 08, Little TJ, Tora, Bazzy, Kevin George, Martin Hayes, Ugly God, Christian French, The Regrets, Rah Rah Riot, LV, Satica, Mers, Marika Hackman, Cliff Cody. See, you don't know any of these.
No, Cliff Clody. I love him. I saw him in a little place, and it was amazing. You're right. I don't know any of these.
All right, last question. My wife and I often talk about what things we have a completely irrational hatred of. For example, I really dislike a football soccer team over here in England called Aston Villa, yet I can't for the life of me justify why. My wife is the same with a singer over here called Ellie Goulding. So my question is, what things do you guys irrationally hate and why?
Pretty much everything.
I mean, this could be a 7-hour show now.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a special.
To rise like mainstream society.
It'd be easier if I gave you a list of things I didn't irrationally hate.
Going to the topic of music. There have been bands that I've irrationally. There's nothing about their music makes me like I should hate their music. One example, his music is fine. I would be like super like into him, but like Dave Matthews, his music is fine. And for whatever reason, I irrationally always hated him.
Yeah.
Like, and I've realized now I've like moved past it. I'm like, oh, his songs are fine. Why would I like? His songs are catchy. Like, there's nothing to really hate about his songs. And yet, for a while, I was like, he was the worst thing.
Who?
Dave Matthews.
Oh yeah. Green Day for me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was I mean, not like a huge fan, but I really liked their first album, or whatever I don't know if it was their first album, the Basket Case, the one that everyone liked.
No, that was like their third, I think. Drake.
Really?
Korn.
You
Korn.
don't like Drake, Jay? Korn. Yeah, but Korn wasn't that big.
They're pretty big.
What else do I irrationally hate? I guess the Yankees.
Selfie sticks.
Selfies.
There's nothing irrational about hating selfie sticks.
I irrationally hate Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's irrational. It is like
It's
shit.
irrational because I really don't understand it. Like the whole concept, like why it's such a phenomenon. I rationally hate the Jenners.
Yeah, that seems pretty rational. I'd say Pinterest. I make fun of that one. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's a billion-dollar company.
Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's nothing irrational
Will
about
Ferrell.
Do you hate the good like ones or just like all of them?
There are no good ones.
No, because like Happy Gilmore is like a solid movie.
I didn't like that either. I only liked Billy Madison. I haven't liked any other movie.
Well, that's kind of shocking. Even like Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, like those are his two good movies.
Yeah. I think I saw Happy Gilmore and didn't like it, and then irrationally hated everything he did after that.
Because really, like you could have just waited to the next film and been totally justified.
Yeah.
It's like he got. I don't know how he gets to keep making movies.
He's like Ernest. He's got a built-in base, or like Tyler Perry. He's like no matter what he does, he's got a certain amount of people who are going to see it. He
did a one of those like indie movies that I actually really liked. Did you guys see Punch Drunk Love?
No.
He plays a guy who basically seems like he's kind of on the spectrum. And just does a really good job playing the role. The role has like a lot of like kind of like it's like a drama, but has some really funny parts to it. Mm-hmm. It's like a love story, but he's really good in it. Basically, he plays autistic well. I don't know. It's a solid movie.
Yeah, what else do you guys irrationally hate?
The NBA.
Yeah, I guess you could say the same for me with baseball.
The Republicans?
See, there's a lot of things I rationally hate, and I'm trying to separate the two.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of things I agree. There are a lot of things I irrationally hate.
I irrationally hate, like, all these new, like, little microbreweries that are popping up everywhere.
Yeah, that would be irrational because like a lot of them could actually be pretty good beer.
I just hate them all. I hate everyone that goes to them.
Bry's list of irrational hatreds is probably way.
I hate everybody littered in tattoos. I hate everybody fucking. All these young. These girls now, they wear their pants up to like an inch below their tits. I don't know.
Yeah, the one with the butts.
Yeah,
The butts are
that's
hanging
not
out.
irrational.
Anyone notice that?
Yeah, the one where
I've
the butts
noticed-
are hanging out, but the waist is like. Up
Yeah,
to
the waist is like an inch below their tits, and like you can see their ass cheeks.
Their bellies in their pants.
Yeah,
It's just fucking a weird look.
yeah. I just want to stop and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Who
know
told you to do that?
I irrationally hate bangs. I think every girl looks so much worse with bangs.
bangs.
Bangs. Over like when their forehead is covered with hair.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I irrationally hate like the new like big glasses look. Like everybody has glasses that are too big for their face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm definitely not a fan. That's definitely not a huge fan of that.
And I irrationally hate everybody with their stupid names that are just like words and not really names.
You know, it's funny. Everyone who named their kid Daenerys from Game of Thrones before the final season came out.
Yeah, I think you did that joke on the show when we talked about it earlier.
Did we?
Yeah.
I irrationally hate Game of Thrones.
I irrationally hate acronyms.
Is that just because you don't know any?
Yeah, probably.
I irrationally hate
There's
emojis.
too much of that shit.
Oh, remember last time when I was complaining about how much I hated how people use the term happy place, my happy place?
Yeah.
Well, I have one that's worse than that, and I hate it even more.
What is that?
Rationally. Living my best life.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one. I'm living my best life.
Hello.
Unless it's being used in a sarcastic manner.
I don't think it ever is. Most people don't. Young people don't understand sarcasm.
Yeah, no, fair. I guess when people say,
I'm living my best life. No, you're living your only fucking life.
that is true. Okay, I think our show's ending.
Yeah, this is the finale. We're ending the show on things we hate.
Like forever?
Oh, you,
Things
well,
I
it was like
irrationally
I had that thing with I irrationally hated Justin Bieber, and then I found myself singing a song and finding out it was a Justin Bieber song.
Oops.
So I just have bad taste in music, apparently.
Yeah, so will we be back soon? I don't know.
Tune in to find out.
Yeah.
We'll be back, but
You're gonna have to. We're gonna need people to like write to us and say, "Keep the show going," or "Don't keep the show
why
going."
is the show going to end, Jay?
Because nobody cares.
Yeah, I feel
Probably
like
true.
nobody
No one
cares,
cares.
including us at this point.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to do a lot more of the shows this summer because we weren't going to do the Knicks, and it turns out we don't even care about doing the show.
Yeah, so that's not a good sign.
Well, what the whole point of the show, I think, is just us hanging out with each other via Skype.
That's what Jay and I were talking about before you came on. I was saying, I don't know if this made the air before Jay started secretly recording me, so I'll say it again. I appreciate anybody who actually listens to this show, and I know I usually give most of our listeners a hard time because they ask stupid questions, but anybody that would actually take the time to listen to the show over the years, I do appreciate, because there's just so much content out there. Like I was saying, like every famous person has a podcast, every comic has a podcast, every sports person has a podcast, every like news anchor has a podcast, and it's like I don't know how anybody like can get anything done in this like with their lives if they're just listening to podcasts all the time.
Well, I find that speaking of podcasts, there are a lot of music services that are going big into the podcast world. I think we've talked about on the show that like there are a number of podcast companies that have been bought for a lot of money recently, like hundreds of millions of dollars for XYZ podcast network. And what I find weird about it all is that there'd be a number of podcasts that are going to charge you to listen. And when I find myself with just all the free content out there, I am always like 10 shows behind of stuff I want to listen to. I'm always like my podcast. I'm always have like 10 different things I kind of want to listen to that I don't get around to listening to because there's so much goddamn free content out there right now.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know how anybody could, like, the fact that anybody, like, found the three of us just talking about shit nobody cares about that's, like I said, Jay, completely unrelatable to anybody else besides us, and they're still listening. It's sort of a minor miracle.
Yeah, we were saying Mark is the only one that has, like, even sort of a normal life.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the three of us come up here and tell stories about our lives, and nobody knows any of us or knows anything about us other than what we say on the air. And somehow people find that semi-enjoyable.
I know when I haven't been on the show and you guys have done shows without me, I've really enjoyed listening. But I also know you guys, so it's a little different. But
maybe we need to reboot the whole thing and just come up with like a concept or like a theme or
anything that connect the show better.
Yeah, like any sort of like structure or flow. Like
I find when we do shows where there is structure, it goes like they end up being much better shows. Like if someone has a story where everyone's really supporting the story, and like when Jay had his trip to Asia and we were covering that for like the whole show, that was a great show because there was a lot to talk. Jay had a lot to talk about, and we had a lot of like side conversations with it also.
Yeah.
When we have a series of 37 topics, it doesn't go so well.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we just need to take a brief hiatus and figure out what we want to do with this.
So we're back next week?
Or on tomorrow.
We should probably be back. Why don't we just take a next week off and the week after? We'll do the week after, whatever. We'll go to the Met game.
We'll have a real life podcast at the game.
Yeah.
We'll get all the good stuff out.
Yeah, we'll just hang out with each other. It'll be nice.
All right. Well, we'll figure something out and email us thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com or Twitter, brinkofsanity3, and let us know if you want us to keep going.
Jay, I don't even miss our Nick show anymore.
I don't either. That's not a good sign either.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. This is the least I'm like, I don't mind not talking about the Knicks anymore.
I'm actually kind of relieved.
We should still do it again, but this could be our last season. If we make it through the season.
You should just like reload old shows and see if anybody notices.
I mean, they're so bad we probably could sync it up until like January. I mean, they did bad, they lost. Will the young guys get playing time? Blah blah blah.
You could record like a week of shows like in one night. Just be like do 20 minutes and then just break it out over a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it would just be our past rants, but like inserting the new names. Yeah, you'd be like, I can't believe they're not playing RJ Barrett.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad editing.
Just type in Randall. He can play good offense, but doesn't play good defense.
All the rants with like Mike Woodson are just like, we just replace them with whoever
the coach is.
Ay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Bye, my love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye.